Education is one of the best careers to go into because you can throw everything that you're interested in and everything that you apply in your real life to be an independent, functioning human being into the lives of students. Working with colleagues that have come from all other walks of life and sometimes found education as their second career, so they come in with all of this extra special knowledge. The materials that you use and the knowledge that you have is important. It can't be outdated. So a neuropsychologist by the name of Andrea Fink, who was using material from the 90s and whose report was so poorly done that it was thrown out by the neurologist for multiple reasons. The recommendations clearly showed that she didn't understand that fact. I was not working in the school, as she suggested some sort of management classes for me to deal with the student that was violent, when the whole point was I was presenting them information and the school wasn't submitting those incident reports, and also taking a very long time to get any sort of assistance, blaming each department that's just how the way things are, when in actuality it was a very well thought out disuse of a system that no one really understands and that relies on all these individual parts. So of course you can blame each other because you're never going to see those people or departments up close and personal until they actually brought everybody in and they all did the same behavior. Now, so look for material that's outdated. Now here's two examples of two different DBT or CBT courses that use cognition or behavior to address symptoms of stress. One is from 1993 and the other is from 2016. One actually uses biological symptoms and science, and one is always going back to blaming the patient for them not being able to do these little exercises. This was one of their favorite exercises to do. Like, doing this skill was going to solve everything for everyone. And the facilitators are doing this skill and showing us how easy it is. Well, yeah, because you're not under the same distress that these individuals are, and that's basic needs. Where are they going to sleep tonight? What are they going to eat today? They're hungry. What are they going to wear? Because this one gentleman is always in flip-flops, even in the winter time. And lastly, what about the violence that's happening, whether emotionally, physically, sexually, in their community? They just basically decided if your trauma is too difficult to manage and half smile is not effective for you, then they have nothing for you. But they still took the money. Don't forget. Step 1, write it all down. One day you might forget how to turn that frown around. Step 2, describe what they did to you. You can use names and definitely record them too. Step 3, share your life publicly.
Don't feel cold.
This is going to be some
don't feel cold.
So at this point, I'm kind of forced into a corner because the union tells me that they will not proceed with any sort of case filing regarding this matter anymore, even though the principal could have been asked to testify on the day of the evaluation when he walked out when violence was in front of his face. Later, teachers told me that in order for the principal to evaluate, he has to write down everything that happened second by second. You have a pre-conference. I gave the lesson plan. He showed up that day. But what was he going to write second by second? The student attack everyone and scream out that it's too hard? This was the first time he even came into the classroom, while he's spending way more time with other teachers, putting pressure on them because the parents don't really like the fact that this teacher forces the kids to write, causes their heads to hurt. What is a principal to do? Anyway, let's zoom in on Andrea Fink, because if you want to make more money giving a neurological psychological exam, just have more sessions. Each session she got paid for, and yet she still wasn't capable of creating creating a report that was usable by a neurologist, because she even said she couldn't draw any conclusions except to give me some sort of classroom management training when I wasn't working at the school at that point. That's why I was under neurologist care. Who referred me to this woman? And what does that mean for individuals' pocketbooks? Isn't that the point? Right? Keep it all within the same group of people. A little tit for tat. Let me help you out here. And yet the quality of work doesn't matter. Whew, just getting through that was rough enough. Sorry, if you picked up on what I'm trying to say, good for you. If you're a little confused, don't worry. I'm showing concussion as it pops up in the first moment that you can hear it. Because quite frankly, I'm not a very big talker. I'd rather stay quiet about these issues, but that ain't gonna help anyone remove the stigmatization. So one day we will read Andrea's report that's so full of stigmatization and opinion which again blames the patient, which is why I say she's prior knowledge. Cut it. So technically it takes me 2 to 3 tries to really sum up what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and again, that's the post-concussive syndrome symptoms that I'm trying to, show. Because if this is the difficulty of explaining things, I know I was crystal clear when doctors can just change the narrative. And if that's the skill set that they rely on when a patient isn't getting proper when a patient is realizing how dishonesty is so effective in a medical setting as well as an educational one, don't forget they work together, then I guess ultimately what I'm trying to say is if you do a shitty job, you can still get paid, and yet your report did not. Let's go revisit Andrea Fink. And all I'm trying to say is, so I'm going to write your review soon, and I'm going to get in contact with your office to let you know that you stole money from me. And because I'm a consent expert, so I'm going to give you a choice. You can get in touch with me, and we'll discuss the report that you did that was mangled. Because the point is that you learn from this. Because the point is, I want these doctors to learn from their mistakes so they don't keep making the same one and cause immeasurable harm to victims who are just trying to get some proper treatment. But if there's no standards for psychiatrists, then that's kind of a problem, don't you think? Andrea Fink, I'll be contacting your office soon and letting you know that you took money that was fraudulent because your report was rejected, all right? And then we'll continue the conversation publicly, not privately anymore. Thank you. As soon as I realized that my amazing evaluations and work record and attendance didn't matter, I just made sure that I got no gag order. That means non-disparaging disclosure and a confidentiality clause would not be part of any agreement moving forward, since the union told me that they weren't going to support this case anymore. And that came around the time when opposing counsel kept asking why I was going back to the school, and I shared that there was a sexual abuse allegation, and I had done my own investigation.
Back to that tussle for the EU's top jobs, and the finance world was most closely watching who would be selected as the next chief of the European Central Bank and our business training.
She was a key figure, though, at the centre of the Eurozone crisis while at the IMF. Previously, she served as French finance minister under Nicolas Sarkozy, but her record isn't blemish-free. In 2016, she was found guilty of negligence over a compensation payout to French businessman Bernard Tapie, but was given no sentence as part of that legal process.
And found the administration to also bury that, under the rug. And both of them just looked at me and I'm thinking, did you not hear me? There's a lot of other issues at this school, not just my own case.
2 recent appointments will boost the technical expertise of her team. ECB, not Mr. Lane, both ECB.
But there were other grievances, and like I said, I was witness to parents paying for grades. Isn't that more important than what happened to the primary special ed kid? What happened to the primary special ed kid? Apparently, it was not. I talk about consent a lot because if you remove choice, then that is removal of consent. That's when people get a little cray-cray. It's true. Thank you.